Hello everyone, welcome to Star Codes. This is Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astronumerologist. Today we're going to look at the Aquarius new moon, the first new moon of the year and the decade. And of course, Aquarius is the sign that governs the new age that we are currently moving into. So this is an important forecast, also because it involves Uranus in a really big way. Uranus happens to be the ruler of Aquarius. So this is really a big shift that's continuing, of course, with everything that's going on in the first month of the new decade. Now, this new moon happens 2 weeks exactly after Uranus stations direct, moves forward again. And that event occurred on the eclipse, the Cancer full moon eclipse on January 10th. That was the same day Uranus changed direction. And when a planet changes direction, it is at its most potent. So 14 days later, we have on January 24th, the Aquarius new moon, the sign Uranus rules, and that happens at 9:42 p.m. Universal Time in London, and that is 4:42 p.m. Eastern, New York, 1:42 p.m. Pacific Time, LA. You don't need to be an Aquarius to benefit from this forecast. You do have Aquarius somewhere in your birth chart. We have all the 12 signs and all the planets and the sun in our birth chart, so we want to follow every lunation because it takes place in a certain position in your birth chart. So you want to know which house it is and what planets it might be activating. So after a series of incredible celestial events, the eclipse in Cancer with the 4 planets in Capricorn, with the moon opposite the sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto, the stellium in Capricorn 2 days later that has been building up for a year and will still continue to impact us for many months. We now have this Aquarius new moon. And so we're acclimating now to the paradigm shift. We are going to be able to break free from so much. And Aquarius is the freedom sign. Aquarius is going to help us to let go of those things that we need to in order to move forward. Now, this new moon happens to have only one major aspect, and it happens to be to Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius. The new moon is square to Uranus, and that's a tense aspect. It's an activating aspect, and so it's going to bring incredible changes. So your openness and flexibility is, first of all, absolutely necessary in order to upgrade to the new vibrational shift that's taking place right now, and in order for those new paradigms to take root in your life. So what we're going to cover today is that new moon on January 24th, which is an 11 universal date. The 11 is the portal. It's double new beginnings. We're going to look at Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius. It will be at 2 degrees in Taurus, having just stationed and moving direct again in a tight square with the sun and moon at 4 degrees in Aquarius. We will look at that number 4 as well. And the reason is it activates the code for 2020. And of course, we'll end with tips and takeaways at the end. So let's start with the degree number of this new moon in Aquarius. It is 4 degrees. And you may remember last year we had 5 consecutive full moons at 0 degrees between November 2018 and March 2019. Now, this Aquarius new moon is the first of the new year and the decade, and the 4th consecutive new moon at 4 degrees. And it's not the final new moon at 4 degrees either. So this is very important. The 4th at 4 degrees, and we just started a 4 universal year. 2020, 2 plus 0, 2 plus 0 adds up to 4. So this is highly significant. We must look at this number 4 and also understand that 4 is aligned with the planet Saturn. It is aligned with Earth. Saturn is about order and planning and concentration and work, and that's exactly what the number 4 is about too. Determination, security, building structures from the bottom up that are lasting, perseverance. And so this takes place in the sign of Aquarius during a 4 universal year. 2020, of course, is a 4. So Aquarius is almost like the paradox, the opposite of 4. Aquarius is like the number 5, which is about freedom. So we have this juxtaposition of building a foundation, but it needs to be built on the whole feeling, the whole exploration of freedom. So Aquarius governs breakthroughs, it governs your inner genius, it governs what makes you unique, it governs the respect that everybody has their own life to live, everybody has walked a different path, and so it is about uncharted territories. It is about inspiration. Uranus is such a planet of intuition and inspiration. So Aquarius and Uranus like to go out of bounds. They like to explore beyond the 3D experience into other dimensions. And that's how we leave the old paradigms behind, because we are set free to explore. Aquarius governs the higher mind, higher consciousness, looking at new pathways, new angles, new ways of being. And so this is a great time to know how you yourself are set up to create a life of the most joy, the most service. And the way to do that is discover your own star code. Do you have a 4? Do you have a 5? Do you have a strong Aquarius moon or sun or Venus or rising sign? You can find all of that out at starcodeclass.com. It's a free masterclass that I created for you. So it's a wonderful time at the onset of the decade to dive into your code and, of course, the codes of your friends and family. So Aquarius finds inventive, out there, new solutions. We are leaving behind the old ways of seeing the truth and then what are we going to do about it? We're not using old paradigms. We're using future inspiration. That means we're getting ideas from other dimensions. So this is a very important time to look closely at, if you've set goals, long-range goals, they're most likely going to shift in some ways. Goal setting is not the point with Aquarius. Experiential, intuitive engagement, tuning into what connects you to the rest of life, the rest of the world, because Aquarius is very humanitarian. And because Aquarius rules the higher mind, you're filled with innovative ideas on how to do that, both personally and collectively. So eccentricity and brilliance are magnified, and Aquarius likes to understand how things work. And Aquarius loves the unconventional. That's why it governs astrology and numerology. So astronumerology is part of this whole experience that we're all having now. We're coming back to the schools that have been in play for millennia, that have taken inspiration from our cosmos, and we're not neglecting our place in the universe. After all, we live on a celestial body. We live on a heavenly body, Earth. If you look at Earth from any other planet, let's say you go to Mars or go to the moon, look at Earth, it looks pretty heavenly. So we're here to rediscover heaven on Earth. That is an exciting prospect. It is filled with thrilling discoveries and surprises and unexpected joys. And, it's like going back into your inner child and saying, okay, I'm just going to feel this out and go with my intuition and seek knowledge, seek truth, seek freedom. And here's the thing, knowledge is important. They all make a big difference as long as they're not done the old way, which is knowledge based on obedience. For example, memorizing tests based on somebody's idea of what you should be learning, and then acing the test or not acing the test. That's all being very obedient. That's our current educational system. It's very measured, it's very linear. So Uranus and Aquarius are saying absolutely not. There are many ways to explore truth. Everybody has their own way of experiencing it. So you have to be flexible. Now, the shadow side of Aquarius is inflexibility, or being aloof, standing aside, not engaging. And the whole point of living, of course, is total engagement. So a fear of engagement is the shadow side of Aquarius, not getting involved, standing aside and being aloof. So watch that as well. So let's look at some exciting planetary aspects that are made during this new moon. First of all, that square to Uranus. Uranus being at 2 degrees Taurus, Uranus being the ruler of Aquarius. This guarantees sudden, unforeseen breakthroughs, discoveries, revolution, internal revolution, surprises, readjustments, right? You are changing, so adjustments will need to be made. And so you may feel, because the moon is involved, the moon square Uranus means that your feelings will be very excitable. And so you need to guard against being impulsive or reacting. You want to immerse yourself in activities that take advantage of the influx of inspiration and trust them, because if you listen closely and you take that time, sometimes we are just on autopilot in our conversations and we just regurgitate the past, and we're not listening to how can we approach this situation in a new way by listening to guidance. So when you do that, your life moves very quickly. Air is cleared very quickly. And Aquarius is an air sign, so it moves quickly. It's rapid momentum that can be created here with your intuition as you gauge any shifts, any emotional shifts that you're having. You get great clarity. And then the Sun square Uranus, it just opens you up to new ideas. You're much more flexible. You can adjust to them. You're making new plans, but you need to guard against making radical shifts based on a reactionary impulse. So again, you need to guard against being impatient or doing something just as a reaction as opposed to an inspiration. So the point of the Sun square to Uranus during an Aquarius new moon is that you want to express who you are with total freedom, with no restrictions. And so conversations will become very interesting. Internal dialogue will become very interesting, because you may sense that sometimes you rebel or are impulsive instead of just not being aggressive, remembering to breathe deeply when you're activated or fearful or feel attacked in any way. So you want to be proactive by listening to that positive feedback that is always there for you, but it means taking that extra breath, that air, breathing it in. Remember, Aquarius is an air sign. It wants you to breathe, and it's through the breath that you are in tune with that incredible insight that's always at your beck and call. Now, there are a few other transits that are very powerful during this Aquarius new moon. The first of which is Venus square to Mars, and that's really going to activate you sensually and creatively. I mean, these are the two planets that represents the divine feminine, the sacred masculine. And so it is very exhilarating. It is energizing. A square does activate. So again, you want to guard against overexcitement or aggressiveness, and instead channel that energy into a deep desire, a creation, something that really sparks you with joy and allows you to explore. Again, that's what Aquarius is about. We also have Mercury sextile Mars, and that dissipates the Venus square Mars in a beautiful way, because it allows you to really understand where your inspirations are coming from and to be practical about using energy to move forward, use that innovation and implement those ideas. So your mind is infused with energy. Mercury sextile Mars, the energy planet and the mind planet. And you have the energy now to achieve a lot, to propel yourself forward. You also feel more magnetic, you feel more attractive, and that's all fabulous. Now, there's another lovely transit that helps us take advantage of this incredible first new moon of the year and the decade, and that is Venus is sextile to Jupiter. Those are the two benefics in astrology. So when they come into a happy transit like a sextile or a trine or conjunction, it just feels like you have a lucky streak. And of course, it is just energy that you're taking advantage of in a positive way that is coming to you. And you just feel blessed and you feel generous and optimistic. And it really favors financial growth and romance and dating as well. It favors dealing with any disharmony that you may have had in a relationship. You know, and I'm not talking intimate relationships. I'm also talking every relationship. Any disharmony that you felt can be brought into harmony with this transit because Venus governs love and Jupiter governs gratitude and joy. So with those qualities, you can really address any disharmony. Plus, your financial flow, as I said, is enhanced. You can attract love and abundance during this time in an easier way. So it's a really good time to make investments. It also favors taking a break if you want to do that. I know we're going to be in January, but if you want to take a weekend, it just is a good time to just relax and feel that fortunate energy. So we have two sextiles here. We have Mercury sextile Mars and we have Venus sextile Jupiter. And these sextiles are helping to dissipate that tense energy of Uranus square to the sun and moon. So you can handle that energy. So you have an outlet for that energy. And it basically allows you to take care of all your needs so that whatever comes up in your life, you can stay balanced and calm, unaffected by whatever, challenge comes your way. The universe always provides us a way to deal with growth in the most positive, calm way possible. We just have to know about it and trust it. Here are some tips and takeaways. As always, we end with those on how to use this energy of this Aquarius new moon square to Uranus in the most optimal way. Due to that square, there's going to be a lot of unexpected energy, change energy. So it's important to be flexible and very, very patient and take things slowly so that you can harness the positive energy of the transformation that's taking place rather than overreacting to it and pushing it away. So it is a great time to make a radical new beginning in your life because Aquarius, if it does anything, it sets you free. And when you are a seeker, what you seek the most is freedom. You want to be free from any attachments. You want to be free of any bondage. You want to be free of any resistance, whether it's unconscious or conscious. Freedom is fundamental to any spiritual seeker. So a good thing to reflect on is that one of the things that we have been told is that we want to master something. And Aquarius is moving us away. The Aquarian age is moving us away from developing mastery to developing freedom. So we can master something and it is exciting, but mastery isn't the journey to bliss, to joy. Freedom is the only thing that is absolutely necessary because mastery will develop a skill and you can develop that skill to the nth degree, becoming a master in it. But once your mastery is achieved, you have to understand that you need to keep developing it. You need to keep feeling free to explore. You don't want to go into, I want to impress others with my mastery. That is an egocentric way of approaching. So when we talk about mastery, we don't want it to be about controlling people around you or controlling existence. We want to be free of those constraints so that we can enjoy what we're saying we are mastering. Mastery is not about domination and manipulation. It does give you power because you are now considered an expert or a master or something. But that power is not worth 1 cent if you are not free, internally set free. So the point is not to be beholden to anyone, ruled by anything, and that is the key to a joyful life. So with Jupiter sextile Venus during this new moon Aquarius, it sets us free to understand that life is a miracle, and the greatest miracle you can experience is to live your life confidently and untouched by challenges, meaning no matter what happens, no matter what unexpected situations show up, no matter what you're facing, you walk through life untouched, free to explore, free from the attachment to that very thing that is happening to you, right? So it doesn't matter what is going on in your life, how many crises, how many challenges, how many celebrations there are, you can walk through life untouched by those. And that means criticism and praise. So we want to move away from the sense of, victory and mastery, and we want to move into a all-encompassing compassion and freedom and service. And what does that involve? Well, what governs our attachment to those things, being seen as somebody who's mastered something? It is your thoughts and your feelings. So you actually have to detach from those more. You have to engage with life, not with what you're thinking. And I know this may sound strange. It's not with what you're feeling. It's what you're intuiting. It's your true engagement. It's where you go out in nature and you suddenly notice the deep colors, the rich colors of the flowers. You notice the breeze. You feel the vibrations of plants. You feel the vibrations of people. You suddenly become totally intuitively engaged. And so this is beyond the 5 senses. Uranus is the great awakener. Aquarius is the awakening age. And it opens up your higher mind, the experiential mind, not the intellectual mind. So when you experience that lightning bolt of inspiration, which you very well may, a lot of during this Aquarius new moon, it will disrupt your assumptions, your everyday assumptions that you've picked up. And Aquarius and Uranus go beyond that. They go to multi-sensory experience. So you're acclimating to this total immersion in life that is about dimensional experience, multi-dimensional shifts, as opposed to this my idea, my feeling, which is very limited. It doesn't use a lot of your gifts. It's basically memory, right? So you want to sensitize your experience to explore other dimensions. And I feel the best way to do that is through going out into nature and listening, or being in a conversation where you're only speaking after you feel prompted to, as opposed to just reacting. So an ultra-sensitive person, which Aquarius is so sensitive, an ultra-sensitive person who is grounded can fully participate in all the dimensions of life. So this is not about following an ideology or a philosophy. It's just living. It's understanding that life itself is the only thing you have to participate in. So discarding opinions about that, discarding philosophies about how to do it, discarding ideologies, all of those have to be discarded. And this is the freedom. This is the attachments that you're letting go of. That is the true freedom. So you want to only embrace what's truly important. And Aquarius is showing you that way. Uranus is showing you that way. And Uranus is in Taurus until 2025. This is so perfect because Taurus is such a grounded sign. It is an earth sign. It's about security. It's about love and tasting pleasure and being present in that way. So it allows you to be experiencing that ultra sensitivity in life and expand your whole idea of what it means to engage with life. And it's going to blow your mind, literally. I mean, that's what Uranus and Aquarius do. It's higher mind. It's going to blow your lower mind. It's going to say, okay, this is pretty limited. I need to be free. I need to just dive in. So remember, you come from the stars, you return to the stars, and so you want to light up that inner light. And that's what this Aquarius new moon is helping you to do. So I highly recommend that you look at your own star code at starcodeclass.com. And I wish you a most beautiful Aquarius new moon. Lots of love. And I'll see you in our next Star Code podcast.